Melissa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back, everybody. Today, this is more of a year topic.
Yeah.
Saying something that you wanted to talk
Yeah, it's
about.
kind of a rant.
It's,
It's less of a topic and more of a rant.
we're not
So,
trying to be too complainy with it, but
yeah. No, but
these are conversations that we actually have with each other. So
yeah.
that is where the whole podcast even came from in the first place, because we like to hang out and have
Yeah.
conversations, and this is one of our conversations that we
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah. On many occasions cuz part of the thing with this is that um there's two things that I have that are that I think should I'm not a big government person, right? But these are two things I think should be illegal. We're talking about TV advertising. And there are two types of advertising that we have a lot of in Florida, actually, that I really think should be banned.
Mhm.
Back in I don't even know when, before I ever watched TV, I guess there was a time where like cigarette manufacturers could advertise on TV. You notice you never see a cigarette ad on TV because they basically outlawed it. I don't even
Oh,
think they can.
really?
Yeah, I don't even think they
I
can.
didn't know that.
Matter of fact, they might even not be able to advertise anywhere anymore. I'm not sure of that.
I
Somebody
think that's
please fact check me on that.
the only thing I've even seen on like vaping
Mhm.
is usually like anti-vape
Right, right,
commercials.
right.
Like why you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and but anyway, so in a similar vein, I think two things that we should not allow advertising for
Mhm.
are personal injury lawyers
Mhm.
and um, prescription drugs.
Mhm.
And if you look on TV, first of all, if you look on TV, and I don't know in other places how bad it is. I know it's worse here than it is in Pennsylvania. Um,
Yeah.
Personal injury lawyers.
And we know
I
that by
s-
people who have come from Pennsylvania
right, right,
and have been
and
like,
yeah,
wow, this is
and when
all
we've
y'all's
we've
commercial.
been up there, yeah.
Mhm.
Or yeah, when they've been down here, they've thought we have a guest. We have a guest appearance
Don't
for those
mind
of
the
you.
cat. If no one's
Whoop.
yeah.
If you heard the meow, you know what happened.
If
If you're
there's one thing
watching,
Mapes
you saw.
loves, y'all, it's her mama, and she needs to be right
Yeah,
here at
she's
all
a people
times.
cat, and she just wants to be part of things. But if you watch TV in Florida,
Mhm.
and I'm sure other states have the same issue, probably I would bet every break between commercials or between programs, between the show, there's at least one ad for personal injury lawyers, and in some cases there's more. I mean, I've been watching TV times and I've noticed that first commercial that comes on is for a lawyer, then you have a commercial for something else, then you have another lawyer commercial. It's like
Yeah.
it's that bad. And
Back to back lawyer commercials is just
yeah, that's
so
happened too.
crazy.
And the thing to me about it is like TV advertising is not cheap.
Mhm.
So the fact that those lawyers and they know it's working, that they're paying for those ads, and that's the content of the ads because
Yeah.
they've become. I mean, there's one down here that, and again, I'm sure other states have the same thing, where the guy's holding up. He's got people holding up giant checks of the amount of money that they won, and I don't think what people realize with that stuff is like all of that money that these people won came
Mhm.
from somewhere. Like, and that
Oh
money,
yeah.
where that money comes from is, it's not the evil insurance company. It's all the
Mhm.
people paying these insurance companies for their car insurance or
Yeah.
their homeowners insurance or whatever. And people everywhere are complaining about the high cost of insurance. That's why,
Mhm.
and I mean, to me, and I'm not, I don't know anybody's situation, so maybe I shouldn't like make a statement like this. But if you're in healthy enough condition to hold up be on TV with a big smile on holding up a giant check of the amount of money you got, I don't know how
I think those
necessary it
checks are
was.
green screen though,
Yeah, I
because
know.
they
It's
stretch
not,
it.
but it's not about whether or not it's an actual check
No,
they're holding up.
so
Yeah, I don't think the bank will cash that giant check either.
no, the thing is, I think though also though, by the time that they've like received their money, it's so long after their actual
Right.
accident. Like think of mine.
Sure.
Sometimes just for them to like settle after, I, y'all just I guess just put my business out there. I've been sued twice. I've had two accidents where my car's
Yeah.
gotten totaled, and I've been sued both times. Well,
Yeah.
my insurance has been sued.
Yeah. That might be part of the bitterness too. It's from that because I
You're
know both
angry
of those
for me.
situations. I'm angry for you because
Um,
I know both of the one of those you were on our insurance too.
yeah. So the thing is that by the time even in those that they've like settled, it
Right.
was, I mean, it would take a long time because it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of like, it's not just the
Oh, sure.
insurance going to that person and being
Sure.
like, hey, this is, okay, yeah, you got in an accident and you had some injuries. Okay, here's your check. Like,
Right.
it's not as cut and dry like that. Like, even in mine, the guy was asking for like, I don't know,
I think he was asking for
significantly
like, yeah,
over
he was
what
asking for like
his,
3 times or more
like what his
what he ended up
actual,
getting.
yeah, like what his actual medical bills
Right.
were.
Well, and that's part of my point though, is like the insurance should be there to cover damage to your vehicle
Hmm.
for, and whoever's at fault should be the one paying.
Yeah,
It should cover damage to the vehicle. It should cover any medical expenses that the person's gone through. It should cover if they haven't
lost
been able to
work.
work, yeah, and they lost wages because of it. It should absolutely, that should all be paid. It shouldn't even be a question.
Yeah,
But like the ones that you see on TV anyway, it's people that are getting giant amounts of money. And the only case where I think that that's appropriate is if like you've had something life altering happen to you. You've
are
been
you talking about like where
put
they're like,
yeah, you've been
so and
put
so got
into
me
yeah,
$3 million?
yeah, and they're like sitting there with a big smile on there. There's even one commercial where the guy's like sitting in a big like pickup truck,
Uh-huh.
and the suggestion, I always hear the guy saying, even though it doesn't say this on the commercial, but like,
Yeah.
and I was able to use all that money I got and buy this sweet pickup truck, like.
Did yeah,
th-
but did he, well, yeah, maybe.
So I mean, that's my complaint there is like,
Do you think they're actually getting, do you think they're lying on the commercials though to
no,
make it seem? Do you think
I
they're
don't think
actually maybe not getting like millions of
well,
dollars?
I always wonder when they mention the amounts that they got. I always wonder, is that the amount that the
Like the
settlement was for,
settlement, probably.
and how much of that went to the lawyer?
A good amount.
Yeah, or is that the actual amount that they
I don't
walked
think
away
they're
with?
pocketing $3 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Based on my accident
I know the one.
issue,
Yeah,
and mine wasn't anything crazy. Like I feel like also though a lot of times, I don't know though. I was gonna say a lot of times it might be with like companies like
right.
not pickup trucks,
Like tractor
like
trailers,
semi truck
semis. Yeah, yeah.
accident.
That's a whole other.
But usually
That's a whole other
those like
animal.
I feel like the people do get pretty injured in.
Right.
Did you know that that's why they have the little thing that hangs in the bottom in the back of the semi truck because oh my gosh, what was her name? Her daughter is like a famous actor on or actress on one of those crime shows now. But when she was a little girl, she got in a car accident with her mom, and the car went under
Underneath.
the semi truck. And whatever that little bar is called, oh my goodness. I wish I could just Google it right now, but I
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
don't know.
be, you know,
Somebody will tell us.
all up on Google. But yeah, that's why they have the little bar on the back so that you can't, your
So
car
you
like
can't.
stops and it can't go like
Huh.
literally all the way under
So
the.
see, I
anymore.
think I think all of the semi trucks today should have the systems like the Tesla has on it.
Yeah.
Um, like because our we drive a
What do
Tesla
you
Model
mean?
Y, and it has cameras. It has like 6 cameras, maybe more, maybe 8, and um,
Yeah, so if you ever
and
buy a Tesla, y'all,
yeah,
just disclaimer, like it's
yeah,
recording
in a
you.
parking lot, yeah, whatever you're doing, we know,
Don't do it next to a Tesla.
yeah, but but I'm thinking of a funny
I'm
story that
thinking of Brandon's
you're
story.
thinking
I
of,
don't know
yeah.
if we could say it though.
I mean, we could. I mean, it's not. We don't know the person.
We
We're
don't
not
know.
revealing their name. That Brandon, who
If you're watching this and you know it's you, it was you,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, it was wrong, and we saw you. No, but Brandon also owns a Tesla. He owns a Model 3,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll have a podcast someday and just talk about our Teslas. And Elon Musk will hear it, and he will come on our podcast
Like,
as a
what? A
guest.
family
That
of
would be
Tesla
great.
owners?
But anyway, he had his parked, and when you get back to the car, if anybody's been around the car, you get a message on the screen that tells you they call it Sentry Mode. You get a Sentry Mode alert, and so he, if you get like usually if I go and there's one, I won't look at it. If there's more than one, I'll check them out just to see, what people were doing, what was going on.
I'm too nosy to like not watch, so.
Usually when I get in the car, though, I'm in a hurry to leave, so.
True.
You know,
You're
it's
not
like,
let's see
I'll
what
watch
went
it
on
later.
while I was gone.
Yeah. But anyway, he was looking at the video, and he saw somebody get out of the car next to him, and
He was just standing. So he
Yeah.
was just standing there. He actually showed us the video the other day.
Yeah.
But he was standing there, and the guy, like, you could. All
Yeah,
I'm gonna say is you could tell this wasn't his first rodeo. Okay,
Yeah,
you know he's
yeah.
just peeing anywhere he pleases.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he literally like lifts up he had like basketball shorts on.
Yeah.
Lifts up his basketball short, like the leg to his basketball shorts.
Mind you, he was facing away from the camera.
Facing
so
away from the camera. Yeah, yeah,
there
yeah.
was-
You
there
didn't
was
see
no-
all that.
It wasn't X-rated. Yeah, it wasn't.
That would have been crazy though.
Yeah.
He would have had to be peeing on Brandon's
Yeah.
Tesla at that point, which would
True. That's
also
true.
be crazy.
That would have been crazy.
But yeah, lifts up his basketball short leg and with his back turned, just like Brandon you just see in the video like
Yeah, you
the
see
trickled
the
water.
trail. Yeah, the trickle.
And
Yeah,
then he
so-
just like, lowers his leg and moves on with his day.
So if there's a message there, it's don't pee by a Tesla.
Don't be by a Tesla. Don't do anything you don't want a Tesla.
Right. So but anyway, they should have those kind of systems on. Well, I didn't
Like a
go into
semi-truck?
it because it's got cameras all around, which it uses for like autopilot and full
Yeah.
self-driving and that. But it also, like when I go to change lanes, I've got a blind spot camera that comes up on the screen, and I can see if there's a car there. It's also got the the sensory system around it that it shows all the vehicles around you. But
Sure.
but because I saw something, I think it was on the local news, maybe they showed a thing of a semi truck
Uh-huh.
and like the field of vision, because they're up so high and that thing's so big,
Yeah.
like their field of vision is terrible in those things. And the one I saw, the demo they had set up, the reporter is sitting in the semi truck and he's looking out, and he saw no vehicles around him. And then they showed the side view, and there was like a car right in front of him, a car on this side, one side of him, a car on the other side of him, a motorcycle up it. Like he was literally surrounded by vehicles, and he could see none of them. Even in his mirrors, he couldn't see any of them. So I think that they should
Partner with
have
Tesla.
systems. Yeah. Well, Tesla is working on a semi truck. I'm sure it's got all those kind of
But
systems.
just like to have it for
But-
all the semi trucks.
Yeah, I think somebody could develop systems like that, like aftermarket, that you just install on those trucks that would make
Think
them safer.
about even when you're in a U-Haul though. Like when I've been in a U-Haul before, especially like once you get used to having, like maybe the truck drivers, like they go through so much training and stuff, so they
Right.
like know maybe like what to look out for or whatever.
Right.
But when I've been in a U-Haul, like driving a U-Haul,
Right.
it's so scary to me.
Oh,
Especially
and
when you're used
you
to
kn-
a backup camera.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, and you know what the worst thing is though? The way other people drive around U-Hauls.
that's true too.
Because like when I see
Or,
a
like,
U-Haul,
semis.
yeah. Well, when I see a U-Haul truck though,
Mhm.
I'm assuming that person doesn't know how to drive that truck, or that they're not regularly drive. Because I've rented U-Hauls and I don't regularly drive trucks, and I'm talking about the big U-Hauls.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed when people will like cut off one of those, because I'm
Yeah.
like, that person they don't drive that vehicle all the time.
Yeah.
They rented it probably to move, and they're driving it today, and they're like, doing
Their
their
normal
best.
car's a sedan.
Yeah,
but
they're normally driving,
Yeah.
a Yugo. The Yugos.
I
they
usually
don't even
stay if
exist.
I'm gonna drive. I mean, not like I've driven that many U-Hauls,
Right, right.
but I'm a very like I'm just gonna stay in this
Oh, yeah.
slow lane
Getting-
and just
yep.
mind my business. Y'all
Yep.
can pass me, but
Yep.
I'm not.
That
I'm
was
not
when
trying
we
to
were
whip through here.
moving back from Tampa, and we had that U-Haul. That's the way I was trying to drive it, because even though that was like a 2-hour drive in that thing,
Yeah,
it was a big one, and it was like fully loaded up, and the one day when we were coming back, it was pouring down rain. It was
Mm,
getting to dark, and I was like, white knuckling that thing. So that's
yeah,
like when I see people driving stupid around those, I'm like, like are you insane?
maybe.
Because like maybe they are.
Might be.
Um, but getting back to the whole topic of like the ads,
Hmm.
um, I don't know. I just don't. I think it's a bad thing, like for consumers, that there's that much advertising because it sort of is
Right.
creating this kind of idea or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but kind of the assumption that if you get in an accident, the very first thing that you should do is call one of these, lawyers that advertises on TV. And I think that's bad for all of us because that's why insurance rates are skyrocketing everywhere.
Hmm.
Because again, when they sue the insurance company, it's not cutting into their profits. None of that's happening. What it's
Right.
doing is it's causing them to have to raise rates to continue to be profitable. Because no a company that's not profitable can't. And remember, we all need insurance companies to be able to, because in at least most states, probably all states, to have a vehicle, you have to have insurance. Um, so yeah, I think those are bad, and then the other one.
Oh, that's like that one insurance company over, I think it was over the summer. They were like people's policies obviously were
Oh,
ending, and then you got to renew your policy.
right.
And before people could renew their policy, they were saying like that you have to pay, instead of doing like month to month,
Right.
you have to pay it all outright. So some
Oh, they
people
were they were doing away
they were
with
having to pay
monthly
like
billing.
$3,000 up
Wow.
front if you want to renew your policy
Hmm.
or just not have insurance,
Yeah. See, and that's
which
silly
is
too, because
crazy.
most insurance will give the option,
Yeah, they said they
and they'll
were
give you a better
losing.
rate if you're paying all at
Hmm.
once. Like they'll give you a
You
better
know,
price, so it's
they said you
smart to do
have
that.
to. We've been losing money, so we've raised our insurance,
Yeah.
and you also have to pay it all up front.
Yeah.
Which it's
Yeah. And
like,
I
okay,
mean
well,
that's
not just anyone can,
there
especially
you
without
go.
knowing it.
There you go. And that's an example. Like why are they losing money? They're losing money because they're having to pay out. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, and again, I'm not like defending like unsafe drivers, people that are reckless drivers that are causing accidents and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like, you know,
Some
but
people might use it as a payday, though.
yeah, yeah, and that's what I think. That's what concerns me about the ads with the big checks and all that is like
Like,
people
why are you
people are
showing
then,
off your money
you
that you
know,
won instead
they
of
get
just the
into a fender
fact?
bender with somebody
Yeah.
that maybe the person was, stupid and they didn't see them and they turned in front of them,
Hmm.
and nobody was really hurt that bad, but they saw an ad for a lawyer and they go, you know what, I'm going to call that lawyer, and that, so I like that, I think is bad. The other thing that I think is bad is prescription drug advertising on TV. And that's another one that if you turn on the TV and you're watching commercials, I mean, there's for the one drug, they've got like, a dance thing going on with all these people. It's like you feel like you just drifted
That's
into like
every
a
commercial.
Broadway musical or something. Like the high production value on these ads. And
As it's
again,
reading
it's
the
very
side
expensive.
effects of
Yeah, right, right.
might
Yeah, the
cause
whole
death, and then
yeah,
it's like,
well, yeah, that too. Like, and the problem to me with advertising prescription drugs
yeah,
is I can't even get that drug
yeah.
unless my doctor has determined that I have, a condition that requires it, and that my doctor hopefully is recommending it because they feel that it's the thing that's going to help, my condition, whatever it might be. So why should you have TV advertising for those products saying at the end, ask your doctor about, because if it's the drug that I need or that's going to help me, my doctor should know about it. He should have the opinion that it's a good drug for whatever, my condition is, and he should be recommending it because of that, not because I walked in there and said, "Hey, I saw this TV commercial and they told me to ask you about this drug." Like it's kind of insane to me that that's even a thing.
Hmm.
And what that does then in turn is it drives the price of that drug up because they're paying for that TV advertising. Um, you know, as a result, or I guess in hopes of people doing exactly that. People going to their doctor and asking about, the great drug that they saw on
Yeah, I
TV
was
so
gonna
that the
say
doctor
that's
will
what they
prescribe
say in
it.
a lot of them. A lot of
Yeah,
them they'll say like, "Oh,
yeah,
you
ask your
have
doctor.
to, yeah, ask your
Yeah,
doctor about this."
while they have all the disclaimers.
But if I have an
And
issue anyways, then my
yeah,
doctor.
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't. Yeah,
to me, there's just no reason that there should be TV. If anything,
that's true.
these drug companies, if they want to advertise, to me, the effective place for them to advertise their product, if it's a prescription drug, is to advertise it to doctors because,
Mhm.
you know, doctors, advertise it in medical journals or whatever.
Mhm.
Because doctors are the ones that are going to prescribe it. And I just don't, if I
True.
saw a TV advertisement for a condition that I have,
Mhm.
I'm never going to go to my doctor and I mean maybe I would. Maybe I would go in and if I'm having problems managing, my condition, I might go in and say to the doctor, "Hey, I saw this TV ad for that product."
Yeah.
But I don't think that's right. And again, the problem that I have with it is that it's just like with the lawyer ads, it's driving up costs. Everybody's complaining about the high costs of prescription drugs. And I mean, to me, that's a big part of it. A big part of it has got to be, that these drug companies now are spending tons of money on marketing their products rather than improving their products and honestly, and this could be a whole other podcast too, honestly in curing things rather than finding ways to treat them.
Well, because I think too, like for example, when remember back in the day, like literally high school days, I was getting migraines all the time,
Right.
and um, when I had those migraines, it was more like I'm gonna go to the doctor, tell him what's up, what I'm feeling, what I'm going
Right.
through, what's wrong with me,
Right.
and then he knows, like as my doctor, oh yeah, let me prescribe you this or
Right.
whatever.
Right. Yeah, that would be. I mean, to me.
Instead of like, hey, I've been having migraines and I saw this thing on the
Right.
because most of the time too, I feel like if I'm gonna be like advertise something, I forget who it was, but back then they had taken um stuff for a migraine, like a day to day type of thing.
Mm,
And somebody that you know might say like, "Oh yeah, I'm dealing with that too."
right.
But
Yeah, my doctor has me on this and it's working. Yeah, even that's different though because that's somebody who's had personal experience with
yeah,
it,
went
telling
to their
you
doctor
about it.
already.
Yeah, went to their doctor already and their doctor gave it to them. And I mean, I know there's probably, things that go on there as far as the way that the drug companies market to doctors that's probably even,
Yeah.
not the best because then,
Right.
is the doctor marketing or is the doctor prescribing it to you because they really feel it's the best drug to help you with your condition, or are they marketing it, or are they doing it because it was just marketed to them the same way, you know, the same way that it's being now marketed on TV.
Yeah.
It Yeah, so those are the two that came to mind though was like, and I think it's because there's so many of those ads on right now, and the
I
one,
think it's because that's the only commercials we also have. I don't know why, but I feel
yeah,
like back in the day, maybe it's just the channels we're watching. I don't
maybe,
know. Maybe people just aren't paying for TV space for
yeah.
commercials though
So
either
maybe
anymore. Because
maybe I'm thinking that it's more expensive than it is too. Maybe it's like cheap these days. I can't imagine that it is though.
I don't know. Because I think a lot of places too, like they just use um ads in other places, like with influencers and social
Right,
media and stuff.
right,
Like they know they can slap an ad on Instagram and it'll come across my feed more than
yeah,
like a TV. Because as we mentioned in the other podcast, like a lot of people don't even have like cable anymore.
right, right,
But like I'd rather pay the extra few dollars for Hulu no ads,
right,
even though I do like a good commercial once in a while, but
yeah.
not if I'm like watching a
Like the
TV series. Like if I'm trying to watch
yeah,
Abbott Elementary,
oh yeah.
I'm not trying to have
Yeah,
it
there's
like
also nothing.
interrupt.
Yeah, there's also nothing more annoying when you're watching like what you're trying to like binge something,
Yeah.
and you have the version of whatever the streaming service is that has ads,
And it
and
comes
an ad
up.
comes up.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But I like a commercial on like regular TV. I think it
Oh
breaks
yeah,
it
it gives
up a
you a
little
break.
bit.
It gives you a break. Yeah.
Um,
I don't mind commercials
but like remember
much.
before, I feel like they used to have commercials for things like restaurants and other TV shows
Yeah.
and I don't know, toys. Maybe I'm just thinking of Nickelodeon days, but
Yeah.
toys.
Could be back then you were watching. No, I know
Target
what you mean though.
commercials, Walmart
Yeah.
commercials. Like, I don't really see
I,
like commercials for
so
stores as often as you do, like you said, like
yeah,
prescription drugs.
you're right because like the only Walmart, for example, Walmart commercial I can think of that I've seen recently, and I see it a lot. Maybe this is because we have YouTube TV,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah, that's what I'm
depending on the
saying. It could
channel
be maybe
you're
that.
on, YouTube TV runs like they run like they're almost like the kind of ads that come up, when you're on like, an app or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like they're separate ads from what's being run on the TV network at that
Oh,
point.
right.
But so I think this might be one of those.
Not like a local TV ad.
Right. But it's for the Walmart delivery,
Oh, yeah.
and it's for the one where they'll actually come in your house and put things away, which
I would
I'm
never do
very
that.
opposed to that.
I want when
like-
you drop off my stuff at my
Yeah.
door, I'm like waiting for you to drive off
Yeah.
before I like sneak out and
Yeah, I
like, grab
definitely
my
don't-
stuff.
It's funny because the commercial they show this,
Don't come in
it's
my
it's a
house.
nice person, and they're talking about how sometimes they're home and sometimes it's just me and their cat, and I'm like and this is nothing against Walmart employees. I'm
Yeah.
not judging Walmart employees, but there's no one that I don't know that I would, because Amazon does the same thing with
They
I
put it
think
in
with
their garage.
like your MyQ, they can
Yeah.
have it that they're, and I don't even want that. Like I don't
I want
like
you in
leave
my
it outside.
garage.
That's fine.
Someone takes it, I'll report it. You'll give me my money back.
yeah,
We'll move
I'll
on
have
with our day.
because there's camera, just like with the Tesla. The house has cameras everywhere, so
True.
we're
that's so
gonna
funny.
find you. But
Imagine though,
But yeah,
you said
that's-
sometimes they're home, sometimes it's just me and their cat.
yeah,
Imagine being the delivery person and you're coming up in someone's house and they're just sitting there on the couch while you're like
Yeah,
putting
you're
their
putting your
groceries
groceries
away.
right. That's true too. That's
I
true
would
too.
feel
It's like
so funny
it's
like being home.
it's like if there was, that seems to me like if there was a version of DoorDash where they bring the meal to my house,
Set it
they bring it
down.
in, they put it on a plate for me, and they bring it over to me and feed me.
I think that's so funny. I would never have
Like
that service. I think it's a great
DoorDash
service maybe for like an elderly
Platinum,
person.
something like that. DoorDash Gold service would be, they come in and they plate it for you.
Like an older person, they order
Yeah.
their groceries and they can't like, they shouldn't
Yeah,
be lifting
okay.
the case of like sodas
Yeah,
or whatever,
Yeah.
so they're having somebody else. But I don't know, maybe that's why they just advertise it. But the person on the
Yeah.
commercial was not an elderly person, just like
no, it was just like a family. It's just like because the one, like the kid's there and they're waving at the kid
That
because
is
they know the kid
so
because they're always
funny.
delivering to them.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be comfortable about it. If you disagree with that comment,
I would never do that. Yeah, I don't. I
Yeah.
never want to interact with the delivery person. Nothing against the
But,
delivery person. I just
you
don't
know,
even want that interaction. I think
the-
that's like an age thing.
yeah, the thing I think about it though too is, like for them to have that service, a
Yeah.
company the size of Walmart they're not rolling something like that out without like market testing it and finding
Sure.
out that it's something that people want. So
Yeah, because
you
they
know,
usually try that stuff.
we might be wrong on this one. Like
We're
this
the
might be
minority of
something
that.
We are in the minority on that.
But
yeah.
like, I think even certain things like that though, every time they test something, they always test it in a specific area.
yeah,
So maybe a specific area of the United States that they tried that at,
yeah,
it was
was-
really successful. Wouldn't be in my house though.
yeah. Like, when we go for Target pickup and they have to put it in the back of the car, like I feel bad that they're lifting the things off their
You're
cart
sitting
and
there
putting it
just
in my
in
car,
your
and I'm just
driver's
sitting there
seat, like,
because there's no reason I couldn't get out and do that. But
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 would
it's
feel
awkward then if
weirder.
you do get out
Yeah.
because we've done that, and we've done at BJ's, we've done the same thing where they'll
Yeah.
put it in the car, and I always just feel like I should be helping them.
That I know that is funny. That would
Yeah.
make me feel like like a child.
Right.
You almost done?
Yeah, yeah.
They
Like,
asked.
hey, I got places to be.
I forget. I I don't think I was with you guys. I was with somebody who they did that. Maybe it was I might have been with Brandon or something. I don't remember. But they ask, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it was with Brandon." I think. It doesn't even matter. But oh yeah, yeah, cuz he was getting dog food
Right.
at like the at PetSmart or whatever. And the guy was bringing it and putting it in his car. And then they're like, "Oh, does it have it has a button or whatever,
Oh,
I
right. To
think."
close it.
Mhm. Or does it have a button? And
Hmm.
then he just like didn't, he just closed it or whatever.
Right.
It's like, that's kind of funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The worst
Like,
one is
imagine they're
like
like
if your car.
slamming the trunk
Yeah.
too hard or something. Like,
Yeah.
yo, watch it.
Yeah. If it like, because if your car has the
Did it
button.
close?
Yeah. If your car has the button and you don't use I mean, most cars can handle it, but it's
Yeah.
still kind of like awkward because it's like.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I would hate to be. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of all the years that I worked in customer service back in the day. Like, I love that I don't have to be in a customer
You don't
service
have to.
job now.
You don't. You're bad with people, is what you're
I'm
saying.
great with people,
Oh.
but like, I hate, not hate, but sometimes people are mean and like
So.
being in a service job like that, like I wouldn't want to be in a service job like that because some people are just really really picky. Like,
Right.
I could put stuff in your trunk and then like you'll get that one customer, I feel like, eventually, where they're like very precise on where they
Right.
want their things and how you should put it and like where you
Oh,
should
yeah.
stack it and like
Yeah. I
don't
mean.
slam my door too hard. Like, I joke about it, but I know there's people out there that
Yeah.
probably are like that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And the thing to me is like I always when I'm dealing with anyone like a customer service person, I always start off at reasonable,
Mm.
but depending on the situation, I can get to like angry, you know,
I try not to be too angry with them.
really quick. Well, the thing is, I try to start
Unless they're
off
like
thinking,
disrespectful, but even if they're
yeah,
disrespectful, then I just like remove myself
yeah.
from the
Well,
situation and like,
so two things. Like I always start off with the idea of, how would I want, and this is the honest to God truth.
mhm,
How would I want somebody in that scenario talking to you or talking to Jay, who
mhm,
kind of is
yeah,
works dealing with people,
mhm,
or like any of you guys if you were in that situation.
yeah,
So I always try to start off with a little, giving them a little bit of respect from that standpoint.
mhm,
But where I'll get like to the like angry level is if the person just isn't, if they're either not understanding the problem or they're not trying. Like I recently had a situation with Amazon where we had ordered something that was supposed to be delivered the next day.
mhm,
It wasn't delivered the next day, and the tracking hadn't updated. And this was like 5 days later.
yeah,
The tracking hadn't updated since the first day, and I was trying to tell them that, look, I just want this canceled and I want a new one shipped. That's it.
yeah,
It was something that I needed and I wanted to get it.
yeah,
So clearly something got messed up on this order. And I literally had to go. I was doing it through chat because I don't like talking to people. But
I
I
like the
literally
chat
had.
service too,
Yeah,
though.
I do too. It's just
Usually it's
it's
easier.
easier because yeah, it's just easier. But I literally had to go through like 8 people to get
Mhm.
the problem solved, and I was like in a chat for an hour trying to do this. Over an hour it was by the time it was done. So like by the time I got to the third person, I'm just angry. I'm in angry mode. So they were not
I'm in
getting.
angry
Yeah,
mode.
I've
Yeah, but yeah, we can't
you know.
take it out on that third person though.
Yeah, I
If
get that.
anything, I've gotten transferred before, and I've
Yeah.
been like, um, I'll say something like, "You're just the third person I've talked to today. Like, are you gonna be able to resolve this or
Right.
not?"
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
and with this, I mean, even when I got to the last guy who actually like did what we needed, and guess what? We got they actually,
mhm,
he actually gave us like a promotional credit,
yeah,
and the package came the next day then because he actually, like, did something about it.
yeah,
Um, I was super appreciative to that guy, you know, because he took the time to listen to the problem and try to solve the problem. So I mean, going back to
True.
that, like the idea, it's kind of what you said. I try to treat people with respect, but if I'm not getting respect back, or if I'm not, you know, if they're not really, like the way I look at it is those first 7 people, they could have been AI. They could have been
True.
replaced by AI, because what they were doing was they were giving me because from 3 of them
Do you think
at
Amazon Chat is
least.
doing that?
No, I think what they do is
I think a lot of times they have a script.
they've got like a script. They've got
Yeah.
like a knowledge base in there. Oh, they're having this problem. Say this, and they.
It's like
and I
literally
think it's
something
almost
that they
copy
like
and
click
paste.
probably.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
know when
exactly.
you're going down and you're first talking to the robot and
Yeah.
it's like giving you the prompted responses. I
Yep.
feel like they have that same thing on there, and to an extent. I think they have the option to like type in an answer,
Right.
but for the most part, they have like the prompted responses. I
Right.
think they
I
do that
think
with
that's
my bank
exactly.
chat too.
Because here's the thing, I got, you know, I was on literally 8. I'm not exaggerating. There was 8 different people, and I think there were 3 or 4 of them that were giving me literally, like if I had gone back through the chat, it was literally the exact same responses
Yeah.
that I was getting.
That was just
And
someone that
so
was
so
having a
those
lazy
first
day.
7 people, they literally could have been replaced
Right.
by a chat bot, and it would have been as useful. And then I got to the final person, who was like supposed to be a supervisor or something,
Yeah.
and they actually solved the problem. So this isn't, we got way off the topic of TV advertising. I find that you can comment on this too. Do we stick to our topics
We don't.
enough, or
I'll answer
is
that.
it good that
I'll
we don't
answer
stick
that
to
for
our
the
topics?
people.
But maybe it's good because it's a better conversation. I think if we're not going, no, we're only talking about this.
Yeah, but that's how a lot of our regular conversations are. We
Right.
just go off on a tangent.
Yeah,
and I don't
think
mean
that's
to do it.
I think that's human
but-
nature. Like, how many times are you talking about something, and you go, and like partway through the conversation, you go, how the heck did we get on this topic?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
just how
and
it is sometimes.
like we were talking about breakfast. Why are we talking about, you know, the latest Avengers movie or something?
Because we were talking about breakfast
Yeah,
in the latest
Right.
latest Avengers
yeah,
movie.
it's what they were eating, and that's what got us on the topic. So I think we're done with this one, though. What do you think?
So too.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and
Till next